Nope, it still has the the bra case, or in the case of the blue ones in particular, the booty shorts case.
Hello, everybody. Welcome back to another episode of the iTunes Fan Podcast. As always, I'm Ted Magger from the iTunes Fanboy.
And my name is Alpha DeWolf.
And we have lots of topics to get started with. So, first of all, I'm sorry for... I should have really put this on last week's topic, because last Saturday when I released the last episode was actually the anniversary of this, but this podcast is now 4 years old.
Insane.
Insane. This show has become so much more successful than your old show ever was.
Well, it didn't help that my co-host up and ditched me, but yeah, I mean, this is fun. I still love doing it. I just wish Tappy would come back, which keeps saying that he's going to come back soon at some point, just waiting for that to actually pan out.
So that's what we got going on. But shall we go ahead and move on to our next topic, which is very good news?
Let me see. I can't find my iPad right now, so... Oh! Yeah, this one! Kind of. So, for the first time in TIFP history, we are doing a podcast off of Starlink. It's pretty quick, but also it still needs to finish being dialed in, because as of right now, there's two different routers in this house. Oh, wait, that's another story here at some point. But there are two routers in this house. One of them is still on the old ISP, and that's because we're still having some issues with Starlink. I don't know if it's just we're overloading it or something, but nonetheless, one of the routers is still on the old ISP, and then my router, the AirPort Time Capsule, is hooked up to Starlink. So
does the airport still work? I guess this is a great segue into our next topic, but does the airport still work as a Wi-Fi router? It's just the hard drive in it died.
Yep, the hard drive is right here. And I'm using the router for this internet signal. At least I think I am. Yep. Yeah, so the router functionality is still working. Speaking of that topic, my AirPort Time Capsule had a catastrophic failure. The hard drive. So basically, as we were setting up Starlink and we're doing a bunch of router reconfiguration rigmarole, I power on my router, get the whole thing finished. All right, let's go and edit a video, only to find, where's the drive? Where's the server? I can't find it in Finder. And sure enough, when I opened up the airport utility, it gave me a disk needs repair warning. Yeah, the hard drive died. And
it's
all
really
of my
nice
data is trapped on it.
Yikes. It is really nice that they still offer the app in macOS even today. Because you think they would have eliminated it when they got rid of you would think they would have eliminated it. Maybe not necessarily immediately after they discontinued the airport line, but not that long after.
They say the next version of macOS will. At least that's what all my comment section is saying on my YouTube video of the AirPort Time Capsule. They all keep saying next version of macOS is going to no longer support the AirPort Time Capsule, because apparently it's going to stop supporting some file format that the time capsule uses or something.
I don't know where that's coming from, but if it's going to be more of a stability type of framework update, I mean, that does make sense. But again, I don't I don't know entirely for certain, and they sometimes do keep old software compatible or something. Like I know the only wait a second, maybe the next. I wonder if the Airport Time Capsule is the Airport Utility app is natively supported on Apple Silicon. Because I know the next macOS version is getting rid of Rosetta support.
Talon, you are texting at the worst time. One sec.
At least he's not calling you.
Yeah. Dude, nobody calls anyone anymore.
Except for my dad, even no matter when it's convenient. Like during the show.
Yeah, nobody calls me anymore. I'm the one always calling people. Nobody calls me anymore. And it's sad.
I don't really like calling people. I mean, okay, this podcast is technically a call, so I mean, but I don't really like calling people honestly that much just chat. Like unless I just find it easier just to text most of the time. Because like also, the biggest thing I like about text is that it's a lot easier to go find like saved records of like, oh yeah, we agreed to this. Like that's one thing I really love about texting.
Like what happened 2 days ago?
Yeah. Which that'll be a story for a few months, but
yeah. It was pretty funny though. But yeah, nonetheless, the Airport Time Capsule, it doesn't have a hard drive in it right now. I still have it powered up and having it function as a router. Though I'm thinking at some point I kind of want to put an SSD in it just to kind of keep it. I don't want to leave it in pieces or just broken to be left as a Wi-Fi router forever, because I still think it's a cool product and I would like to keep it functioning as such. But I don't know. It's just right now I'm not going to spend $2,500 to get my data off of this right now.
is that because is that part of the AI computer crisis?
No. So when it comes to data recovery,
That's just expensive generally.
Yeah, it's a very involved and particular process where if you screw it up, yeah, that you ain't getting that data off ever. So it's a very involved and risky process that sure, yeah, there's a bunch of professionals that they do it for a living and so they know what they're doing and the likelihood of screwing it up is very low, but at the same time it's still involved. They have to take it into a negative pressure room where there's grand total of 0 dust particulates. They cannot have any dust in the room at all. And then the precision equipment they need to align everything when they remove the hard drive platters and reassemble it into another drive. It's a very, very involved process with not a lot of room for things to go wrong. So that's why it's expensive. Specifically, $2,500 expensive.
Yeah, I mean, that's just not. I mean, honestly, given that you were already planning on transitioning to another server anyway, and I mean, weren't you just storing like your YouTube videos and just just like YouTube thumbnails and whatnot?
I did, however, have a few project files on it, so unfortunately, those will have to be rebuilt from scratch at this point. So that kind of sucks.
Well, at least most of it is. At least most of the stuff on it is stuff that's already completed, though. So it's not.
Yeah, I mean, if I do ever have just $2,500 lying around with nothing better to do, then maybe I'll send it in to try to get the data back. But it's just not now with the hard drive crisis, and I need to put all that data somewhere, and the server's still not finished being built yet. So. Yeah, it's frustrating.
Yeah, I totally get it. I mean, putting an SSD, honestly, because the Airport Time Capsule is going to be more of a showpiece. I mean, I think the SSD would be a really cool idea. Just to, it would get a lot of cool content out of it, and like it would get, and like on your channel, like you might even get some people, get some fans of like Harut K Mods, DOS Dude One, like those types of people attracted to your channel.
That's the primary reason left to resurrect it at this point, because I mean, again, I was already planning on moving my data to the server behind me at some point. It's just a matter of when those drives will come down in cost, which, given what happened with Western Digital, that sounds like that's not going to happen anytime soon. So, but nonetheless, it's a cool project. I think it would do well on YouTube, given how well my initial AirPort Time Capsule video did, albeit it was very delayed. But no, I think it'd be pretty cool to try to resurrect that and make it even cooler than it was previously. The hard part is I need to... The AirPort Time Capsule is designed to fit 3.5-inch drives, but you can't get SSDs in a 3.5-inch form factor. So I'm going to have to find some adapter bracket, but that can also keep it aligned with its data connector. Though, luckily I do have a friend with a 3D printer, so we might go down that route.
Yeah, that's what a lot of these retro computer modifiers do. Because I mean, the AirPort Time Capsule is literally, it is at the end of the day a computer just designed for a different purpose. So, do you have any more to say about this? Shall I move on to your next topic that explains the difference in your video quality?
Oh yeah, so in case anybody didn't notice, I'm back on the MacBook Pro. And that's not because the iMac's broken, it's because it's gone. Sold. On its way to somewhere in Florida.
And do you have any more stories to tell, like on the price you sold it for?
Oh yeah, I really should have asked for more on eBay. So it sold on eBay basically 2.5 hours after I posted it. I initially asked for $1,000 because eBay kept saying, "Oh, anything more than that, it's too expensive. It's not worth what you think it is. So price it at $1,000." I'm like, you are out of your mind. That's just totally unreasonable. And sure enough, 2.5 hours later, it sold instantly.
I mean, to be fair, it did help you sell it fast.
True. But I mean, I didn't need to get rid of it that fast. So. But yeah, whoever bought it, they got a screaming deal, because that was an M4, 16 gigs of RAM, 4 Thunderbolt 4, 1 terabyte of storage iMac with Ethernet.
Not to mention the latest model.
Yeah.
That's higher than the cheapest brand new model. So yeah, that is a screaming deal. But
basically got it for $1,000 off. That's why I'm pretty mad.
Yeah. That's what happens to use technology. Shall we go ahead and move on to our next topic? Because unlike last week, we have plenty of topics. Last week we had like 7, and now we have 24.
Dude, I'm busy. Stop. Okay. What's the next one? Yep, there it is, the Idiot Awards. Okay, we got a whole bunch of Idiot Awards this time. So let me see. I gotta scroll way far back to find the first one.
How about don't we usually do them like from the latest to the earliest?
I don't remember. All right, well,
yeah,
I guess we'll start there then.
Yeah, we usually do it from the latest to earliest.
All right, so starting off, we have So, I should give you guys context. All of these idiot awards are on the same exact video. It's my Rivian R2 video. So many stupid comments. So, nonetheless, we're starting off with, it feels like you're being contrarian for the sake of being contrarian.
I didn't even know that contrarian was a word. And you brought the LOL.
Like that matters. But nonetheless, clearly doesn't watch any of my videos. And no, I was not. Those are my legitimate thoughts. So
yes, that's not the first time I've had. That's not the first time I've had comments like I had a comment like that one time too, because it was on one of my videos. Didn't look me on, but one guy used the word apologia in his comments, which I'd never even heard of that word before, but I don't even know if it's real, but we're not going that one.
Oh, didn't you get 2 idiot awards in one screenshot?
Yep, so this first one is on my Motive iPhone 17 Pro clip / case unboxing, and this one guy commented with praying emoji, cross emoji, praying emoji, amen, praying emoji, cross emoji, praying emoji. Like, why is that there? But then I guess just a little bit odd and out of context for the video, but the second one, I'm not dissing prayer, by the way. I'm just saying that that's just out of context for the video. But this next comment is once again on my Safari versus Chrome versus Firefox versus Brave speed test 2025 video. The same one I've gotten lots of idiot award nominees on. This one guy commented, "Yo, WTF am I listening to? Sounds like you got a mouthful of marbles. Speak up. Turn your volume up if you can't hear."
That's a good point. That's a very good point.
If you can't hear me, then get better speakers or else turn your volume up. Because I get so many comments saying, "Oh, I don't understand what you're saying," and I'm like, if I didn't understand what I was saying in my videos, then I wouldn't post them. So and sometimes I have an issue if people talk too fast too. So granted, both my parents have criticized me for talking too fast, but I can still perfectly understand myself. So,
I mean, I have no problems understanding you at all.
Yeah.
I doubt Tabby does.
No, I don't think he does either.
So,
my parents are just kind of old, so it makes sense they might not understand everything. So,
yep, no idea what his problem is. Oh, now we're back to my videos, idiot awards. What's this? From looking at his videos, I don't think. Oh, one person comment asked, "Did I drive the R2?" Well, I didn't screenshot that, but it comes from that. It stems from that comment. But yeah, I guess that should have been nominated as an idiot award in itself. Because did I drive the R2? Well, watch the video. Did you see me driving R2?
It's not even out yet, so you can't drive that.
Well, many other auto journalists actually have driven R2, so.
But not small ones like you.
Yeah, no, not like me. So, yeah, and also, did I talk about it? So, no, obviously, that probably was up for a nomination, but here's a comment that stems from that. Trying to answer that question. From looking at his videos, I don't think he drives at all.
I dropped my iPad on my MacBook. Please continue.
Yeah. Just reviews cars. He's certainly not seen the R2 in person, much less drive it.
Of course you haven't seen it in person. You're not a big enough journalist.
No. But, okay. This one's hilarious in a few ways. For one, He's basically saying, I don't drive at all. He thinks I don't drive at all. Really?
What are you, a New Yorker? Or European?
That wasn't me driving in the very first video on this channel, driving Red Fox. That wasn't me driving. Or
you drive in
Stardust.
So many videos.
Or no, that wasn't me driving all the way to North Carolina by myself and back. That wasn't me.
He must not watch your videos.
Clearly doesn't. What does he mean I don't drive at all? I drive all the time. I drive every single day.
Shall I move on to your next nomination?
I got a bunch of these here. Oh, so a lot of these, I can't believe how some of the comments are super upset about not knowing something or not being able to figure something out. But here, I guess a common thing in the EV industry when they're announcing a cars is they'll announce the starting price and what the max potential range of the vehicle is. But never once do they ever actually combine the two. So, I need to point this idiot award out. RG said 45,000 at 300 plus. I'll give you a hint, guys. No, he didn't. So, that's what it stems from. Basically, he lied. RJ never cleared up 45,000 at 300 plus until the announcement of the pricing. Again, he never said that. 58,000 doesn't include the destination charge. The price would have been okay if the miles were at 400. What the hell?
Most EVs don't have 400-mile range.
There's hardly any that do. I mean, what does the Lucid Gravity cost? And that thing struggles to hit 400 miles. So
most gas cars don't have 400-mile range either.
Yep. But man, what a disappointment. EV fans got slapped in the face with the 45K coming. 3 years later with only 275 miles. Wow, unbelievable. I think it will still sell just because of the hype. I'll wait for the iX3. Which, in fairness, that is an EV that will do 400 miles. But
I mean, granted,
also
the
not at
R2
45K.
Yeah, the Rivian R2, to be fair, the Rivian isn't necessarily... I mean, it is partially intended for average Joes, but the Rivian isn't necessarily intended to be a long-range vehicle. It's more intended to be... It's intended to be an adventure vehicle, like a Jeep.
That makes me wonder, how much range does a Jeep have?
I don't think it's 400.
That's a legitimate question. How far can a Jeep go on a tank of gas? You know, we gotta ask ourselves that now. Let's see, new tab.
The Jeep Wrangler 4xe can go approximately 370 miles. And I've heard some other people say like the 225 to 340 miles per range, 200 to 350. Yeah, not 400.
And that's the 4xe. That's the hybrid. So that means the regular gas variants, they're not going to go as far. So, yeah, that's an interesting thing. Oh, where was I? Oh, iMessage. That's where I was.
You have and then you have another one.
I have way too many of these. Okay. Yep. Your thesis is purely based on assumptions for an unreleased product.
You had a thesis in the video?
Who says I'm assuming? I mean, there's one scenario where I was assuming. And that was guessing its efficiency because I was not buying Rivian's advertised efficiency. It didn't seem reasonable. So I made an assumption with I made an educated guess based off of other vehicles with similar aerodynamics, similar shape, and similar. Well, yeah. Basically, I looked at other boxes and other vehicles that tried to get as good efficiency despite being a boxy shape. And they all really struggled to break the 3 mile per kilowatt hour mark. That's why I didn't buy Rivian's claim of 3.75 miles per kilowatt hour. Because all of its competition that has its similar shape, they were all struggling to get above 3 on the highway. And that's when range matters most. Highway. Traveling. Long distance. So, that was the only assumption I made. But, other than that, he's like, it basically sums up to be, oh, you don't know what you're talking about. I don't know about you, but I made a pretty educated guess, and I still think it's going to do about as well as what I said. Not what Rivian is claiming.
Oh, and you have another one.
I have so many. Oh, this is a long one. This is a long one, jeez. Little disappointment, Rivian R2 at 58K starting price, no LiDAR, and the already outdated processor has no chance against a superior Tesla Model Y for $40,000. Just look at Rivian's billion-dollar quarterly losses. To make matters worse, Rivian was promising a $45,000 version of the R2 right up until official announcement. Rivian was outright lying to pump up their stock.
Well, I mean, to be fair, the Rampocalypse, cars have computer chips in them. Of course, they probably can't. They can't control the Rampocalypse, which probably adds.
Even then, that's not the problem with the comment. The problem is he's comparing a fully loaded Rivian to a base Model Y in terms of pricing.
Even in that video, didn't you even compare it to the Model Y Performance instead?
I actually compared the Rivian R2 Premium to the Model Y Premium all-wheel drive. I didn't do performance. But I still did like for like. I did Premium all-wheel drive Rivian, Premium all-wheel drive Model Y. That's what I did. But even then, just the pricing. He's comparing fully loaded Rivian to base Model Y. You can't make that type of comparison. That doesn't work.
That's like
especially when you're talking price.
That's like comparing apples to oranges.
Yeah. And if anything, if you want to compare it to... Somebody in this comment section actually figured it out. Somebody replied on the thread pointing out the flaw in the logic. Well, I pointed it out first, but he refused to listen to me. So somebody else pointed out the flaw. And so, but when you actually compare it to the R2 Launch Edition or Performance, to the Model Y Performance, they're actually not that different in price. I think it's like a $500 difference in price.
Which is very insignificant with a car, unless you're buying a 1985 Ford Tempo, or no, an 87 Ford Tempo, but what's your, but there's more replies.
Yeah. There's a bunch more to it. Oh yeah, when I explained to him that you can't make that price comparison because you're literally comparing fully loaded R2 to base model stripped out Model Y. So when I pointed that out to him, he basically says most people buy the base models. They don't buy the fully loaded models.
Yeah, so which means that they'll buy the base model R2
when it comes out. It's not out just yet, but it will come out. In fact, this is actually a very common strategy in the auto industry. They will start with the launch of their most expensive models, their fully loaded ones, to try to recoup as much revenue as possible. And then once demand for the fully loaded models fades out, then they'll start releasing base models or stripped out versions, decontented versions. This is very common in the auto industry, especially
And
with Tesla.
And that's even more common in the tech industry because, I mean, the 2023 and 2024 MacBook Pros were released before the Airs. And the same thing goes with I mean, if the rumors are true, then the iPhone 18 Pro the Pro version will release this fall, and then the standard version will release next spring.
Well, it's even happening now with, we got the 17 Pro and 17, all of that last year. And just a couple weeks ago, we got the 17E. So, yeah, this is very common to launch with the fully spec'd, fully optioned model. The base models are on the way. It's not like they're never coming. But he acts like, oh, they'll never come. When in reality, this is typical. This is a very typical method of launching a product. So, legitimately don't understand what this guy's problem is, but it is stupid. And is that it for the Idiot Awards ceremony? Yeah, I think so.
I thought I had some more, but let me.
Oh, yep, you did have one. You did have one more, I think.
Yep. So this comment was on my iPhone SE first generation video, and this guy commented, "You really need to improve your speech. I needed subtitles to grasp what you were saying." I replied, "I would not upload this if I can not comprehend myself, and no one else has complained. I mean, technically, other people have complained, but not on this video." And then I replied, and also you could turn your volume up too, but I didn't think of that back then. And this guy replied, "That does not inherently mean your speech is good. It just means that people do not press the comment button to mention your flaws in pronunciation."
Has anybody mentioned your flaws in cognitive ability to understand speech, then?
My mom has, because, I mean...
I'm talking about the commenter.
Yeah. I mean, my mom technically has mentioned back when I was younger that I had speech impediment, or like Norf, whenever I say it, like it sounds like Norf, but like that's one thing I can't get right, but otherwise not necessarily. Oh, I have another one too, that this is a very, very common issue on my common idiot award nomination video, which is, this is on my video on how to install AppSync without Karen's repo, and I put in the title, read pinned comment, and this one guy commented, it said the request time's out. I replied, "Did you read this video as pinned comment?" Where I referred to a better tutorial.
Oops.
Yep, and I think that's it. Let me check. Yep, that's it.
Wow. A lot of idiots today. It's already 11 past 7, and we haven't even started talking about the actual news.
Shall we go and get started with that? Which I know you're gonna. I watched Jason T. Lewis's video on this, so I get to get more of an expert's insight into these. But AirPods Max 2 are now out.
Yeah.
That was a total surprise. I thought they were out
how many months ago?
No, these are called AirPods Max 2. They're not the AirPods Max first generation with USB-C.
Why is it now they decided to release it?
They're talking about AirPods Max 3, but that's just VS marketing.
Even then, though, the tech that they're throwing in it still feels kind of dated.
Yeah, like, I mean, they added lossless audio, which, I mean, that's alright, but that's pretty cool, I guess. But, I mean, even that was in the first one generation one with the USB-C cable anyways. So, I mean, it has wireless lossless audio. I mean, to be fair, though, when you're working with lossless audio, you're going to most likely be somewhere near a headphone jack anyway, so...
I really don't know how to feel about them. I mean, for one, I know I am definitely overdue for an upgrade on the AirPods Max front because this headband has been driving me crazy for the past how many years. It's just, again, it's $450. No, skip $550 if you go through Apple, $450 if you can find a good deal elsewhere. They're, they're expensive. They're so expensive, and I hate the fact that I am an audiophile and I care about sound quality so much because now I have to spend that much money just to have a decent music listening experience.
They didn't even change the case.
Nope, it still has the
bra.
the bra case, or in the case of the blue ones in particular, the booty shorts case.
Yeah, or you mean jorts? That's what they're actually called.
I guess so.
I mean,
I said booty shorts because that's what Brian Tong called them.
I haven't ever watched his videos.
I don't watch them that frequently because there's too much hype and enthusiasm versus actual proper testing. I don't know. There's some YouTubers that are just a little hard to watch that are just, oh my goodness, this is so cool. And okay, I'm probably one of them, but it's
you're not one of them.
Let's get down to earth and actually discuss about the product instead of just gush over it. I mean, I think the only time I've really done that is with the MacBook Pro, but that's just because it was that good. It was so hard not to.
Exactly. Oh crap! I forgot a personal topic. We can discuss that next.
What might that be?
Are you done talking about AirPods Max 2 or not?
I don't really have too much to say because for me, when it comes to headphones, I care about sound quality first, and I haven't listened to them yet, so I don't know what to say about them.
Yeah, I mean they're not anything that notable, and Jason T. Lewis worded it perfectly in his video, which is that Apple has been focusing greatly on Mac. I can't remember the exact analogy he gave, but he said basically that Apple's been focusing so heavily on the iPads and Macs, but they've just been missing with everything else. iPhones and Macs, excuse me. Like, I mean, the iPhones and
I think I agree with that.
Like, iPhones and Macs are really the only products that Apple actually cares about.
Yeah, the iPads really feel like they've been needing some love lately.
The Apple Watch
just more than chip upgrades. But no, I definitely agree. The Apple Watches have had nothing going on, albeit I do agree with Drew Erickson on this point. What can you do with an Apple Watch? The AirPods, they're nearly perfect. What is there to change with AirPods?
I mean, I do have an idea, which is that Apple is that I saw one of Mr. Who's Boss videos this featured 6 years ago, which I think this is a cool idea, which is how about integrating the Apple Watch and AirPods into one gadget? Like have the Apple Watch also function as an AirPods case.
The big downside, though, is that really increases the watch thickness, and
yeah. Okay,
a big thing about watches is they're a fashion statement. Not all of them, but the majority of them are, especially the Apple Watch. So
yeah, you do make a valid point there, but I mean, there's not the... Yeah, you make a perfectly valid point about the Apple Watch, but I mean, yeah. But I mean, yeah, that's really all I have to say about these. Shall we move on to our next topic, which I forgot to discuss?
Yeah.
So my aunt gifted me this AirTag 2nd generation as an early 18th birthday present because I'm about to turn 18. So I have which reminds me, next week is going to be my 18th birthday. I should be still be available though.
Is that on a Thursday?
Yep.
Oh. Good to know. So, have you lost anything and found anything with the AirTag 2 yet?
So my plan is to put this because my first generation AirTag is on my keys, and because that's gotten so heavily scratched and all that I prefer, and that I still have that one on my keychain for my car keys, but my AirTag second generation AirTag, because that's a nice new AirTag. I haven't used any because I'm gonna wait until I travel this summer to put that on my so I can put it on my suitcase. Or in my suitcase to keep track of it. Because it's very important, because I'm probably going to be checking it in a lot of places, so I just need, or like checking it in the airplane, so I would like to be able to keep track of that if possible. So
I'm now just realizing, when I do get the GMC, I'm actually going to need to get an AirTag for it.
For the keys, you mean?
Well, I'm going to put the key on my key ring, which already has an AirTag. But no, I mean one for the vehicle itself. Because Stardust will tell me her location on my phone. I can open the My Buick app and look for Stardust's location. So that way, if she's stolen, I can find her on the map. But the GMC won't have that because it's not new enough. So,
I mean, one thing I will say is I don't recommend keeping all your keys in one keychains. That way, if somebody manages to get a hold of one of your keys, they have access to literally everything else. They have access to literally everything else, so that it's like why you ideally want different passwords for different websites. So it's just so I mean, I wouldn't recommend that, but that's just like I would recommend getting them all in separate keychains. But that's just me.
Yeah, it's a bit inconvenient though, because I can't have things scattered around all the time. I have to keep them close by. In fact, to be honest, the only place I lose my keys is around the house.
Yeah.
I just can never find them around the house. And if I had multiple key rings, multiple items to keep track of, they're going to get spread out, they're going to get lost, and finding them is going to be an absolute pain. So
well, you also live in
need
Houghton,
them all
so
on
it's
the
not
same
like it
physical
matters.
ring. Yeah. But then the other thing too, normally if they're not on my desk here or in my coat pocket in the laundry room, then they're always on me. They're always in my pocket.
Yeah, same. Like I literally never look. I have a bit of embarrassing confession to make, which is that I have literally never lost my keys.
I do it all the time. It's just around the house. I've never lost them out in public.
And and I'll put my AirTag back up and I'll explain that. The reason why I've never lost my keys is because we have a dedicated key ring right by the front door of my house where we keep all the keys. Ideally as soon as I get home from school, sometimes a few minutes afterwards, I put my key straight there.
Yep. No, we have a similar setup but instead of keeping all of our keys on that rack, we keep our spare keys on that rack.
Why? Wouldn't it make more sense to keep all the keys on that rack?
Because, well, for me, where's my keys? In my pocket, right where they belong. So, I gotta cover this up because it's got my name on it, but I have a lot of items on my key ring, as you can see. I've got Stardust car key. Here's the AirTag to keep track of all that. I have my flash drive, which holds all of my organ presets. Organ, the musical instrument, not bodily organs. Office key right here, although this will be useless next month. And, oh, why do I still have the old organ keys? We don't have that anymore. But, no, nonetheless, I keep a lot of stuff on my keys. And I'm not the only one who does this. My sister does the same with her keys. She's got a lot of office keys and various other things on her key ring. Same with my mom. She's got the keys to her classroom, the house. We keep all of our keys on the same ring that we keep with us. But if we need to, say, move the vehicles around because my dad needs to plow, well, we're not going to go look for everyone to ask, hey, where's your key? So we all keep our spare keys to our cars on a rack that are easily accessible. Should we need to move a car that's not ours.
Can't you just like hang your keys up anyway? I mean, it's not like it's gonna be that bad.
No, because yeah, my dad will take 2 different vehicles to the office, but if he keeps the office key on one of his key rings, like say to his truck, but he takes the Yukon in because the truck's not working, well then how does he get in the office? Because knowing him, he's not going to remember, oh, he needs to take his truck key too, because that's got the office key ring on it. So no, for us, it's just more convenient that we keep all of our keys on a personal ring, which includes a key to a primary vehicle, the office.
Like the primary rings up, because that would make it that just makes so much more sense to me. But
because we have so many spare keys, we legitimately don't have any room.
I'll just get another one of those then.
I'm trying to think. How many vehicles do we have here in the driveway right now? We got Stardust. We got my mom's Regal. We got the Yukon in the truck. We got my sister's car. The purple truck Athena. We're keeping a space for my cousin's car. So we currently have. Huh?
Does your cousin live with you guys?
No, but she's a college student, but you gotta pay to park your car at college, so she's keeping it here so she doesn't have to pay. So yeah, currently right now we have 7 vehicles in our driveway. That's 7 keys.
So just buy a key fob that can hold all those, or hold all that, or just buy multiple key attachments. Like it's really simple.
And some of our vehicles, my car has 3 keys because one of them kind of failed. It's a bit on the fritz, but it technically still works. So there's 2 of my keys on the rack. Then my sister's car actually has 4 keys. No, 2 physical keys, but 4 key fobs. And that's because the previous owner upgraded the car to remote start, but they had to get new fobs for that. So there's 4 fobs for that car. Same deal with my mom's car. There's 4 keys for that, because we bought that car from the same person too. Oh yeah, why do we still have the Jetta key? We don't have the Jetta anymore, but we still have the Jetta key. Many other truck keys. We've got so many keys, we're legitimately out of room. Oh, that's also not including the keys to the ATVs and the lawnmower. So
sounds like you're gonna have to spend a lot of money on key racks.
So yeah, there's not a lot of room left in that rack. and that it's just easier for us to keep our keys on us. So
Yeah, I'll buy another rack. That's just me, but yeah, but I can actually show. I'll show you my personal car keys for reference to show. Now I won't actually get up to show the entire key rack to.
No, I don't need to see your key rack. I don't need to see that.
Well, I mean, the key rack is literally all we keep on our key rack is there. Key rack is, well, first of all, we only have 2 people living at the house, so there's that.
Yeah.
But I have my main car key, which has an AirTag on it. My backup key, which that does not have an AirTag on it. My mom's car key, which has an AirTag on it, and then I think our house key, which there's only one because I do not have a house key. And then I have a key to my grandmother's house I keep there.
So, oh right, we also keep our Petoskey house key on that rack too. So, yeah, we got keys and keys galore. So, but no, for me, I am always losing my keys around the house, and it's because I will take them out of my pocket, set them somewhere stupid in the house, but out in public, my keys basically never leave my pocket, except for I'll leave them on the desk at the office, just because I can't fit them in my jeans, so they just stay on my desk at the office, or at the organ, because my flash drive with all my organ presets, that's on my keyring too. So those are the only times that those keys are out of my pocket. Otherwise, they are in my pocket if I'm outside the house.
Yeah, my keys literally never leave my pocket. Same with my wallet and usually when I'm out in public, unless I'm using it, my phone doesn't leave my pocket. But I think we've gone on keys for a little while. So Sean, we can move on to our 8th topic out of 24, as we're not even a third done.
Yeah, okay. So apparently Apple has shifted 25% of iPhone production to India. This
has been a
slow moving... If I had to guess, this might have to do with tariffs, I'm guessing?
Nope. This is because India, I think, has... Well, no, that India, we don't have tariffs on Indian goods because India dropped theirs really quickly. But no, this has nothing... This doesn't have that much to do with tariffs because Apple's been making iPhones and started moving production to India slowly but surely, like 2020, I think, even before then. So they've been trying to... Because India, similar to the United States, also placed laws on local manufacturing to try to incentivize local manufacturing there. And of course, because India has relatively cheap labor, obviously, companies want to move. It makes sense to move production there. So that's... And
yeah,
this is also that also started so that way Apple can move out of China for production for obvious reasons. So it's a long moving process, but yeah, no, Apple has now officially shifted 25%.
So I wonder how much of that's going to move to the US.
I don't know, because I'm pretty sure my iPhone 17 Pro is still made in China. Let me check.
Would it say on the box?
Product of China, 17 Pro, 16 Pro Max, assembled in China. So I think most of the ones that come to the United States, I think, are assembled in China. But then again, it might just be like in other markets that they do it, that have the sending Indian iPhones to. Or again, remember, there's a billion people in India, so maybe it's just... So it's not just largely India that gets it, because if we're being honest, trading from China to the United States is a lot easier than trading from India to the United States, because they're both... I mean, India might be a little bit closer, but the problem is China driving a ship from China to the United States is a relatively straightforward route. Just takes forever because it's basically the open Pacific Ocean with just a few minor islands you can easily avoid. So it's relatively easy to get stuff from China to the United States. However, from India, you gotta let me look at a map of India so I know what I'm talking about. But from India to the United States,
I would
you have
think that's
to.
further.
Yeah, it's about the same. So you have to go literally through. You have to go through the Arabian Sea, and then I think you gotta. Then yeah, no, you have to go through the. You have to go through the Arabian Sea, and then you have to go. Surely you can take through up to the Red Sea, and then I think you. Yeah, then you gotta take the Suez Canal over through the Mediterranean Sea, and then only from there you can get to the Atlantic Ocean. Or if you want to go the east route, you can go east by the Bay of Bengal and take it to the Andaman Sea, go around Malaysia in that area, go through the South China Sea, and then from there you can get through the Philippine Sea over to the Pacific Island, where you can take that to the west coast of the United States. So yeah, it's a lot more complicated to sail from India to the United States compared to from China to the United States.
Yep.
Well, they also use planes. To be fair, they use planes too. So there's that too. But I mean, yeah, they use planes anyway. So it's not actually never mind. They use planes, so that wouldn't be that. Not like that would make it that much of a difference. But again, China.
It'd still be a longer flight than compared to Hong Kong to the U.S.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't actually know how long it takes to fly from India to the United States compared to China from the United States.
China's closer.
Yeah,
China's definitely closer. So, nonetheless, what else do we have on the topics list? Moving into some Samsung stuff. S26 features ALOP camera module that stacks periscope lens on top of a prism instead of beside it, allowing for smaller lenses with wider aperture.
Interesting. I'll say that.
And yet the photos look basically the same as years prior.
I mean, I don't know about the zoom in shots, but yeah, basically, yeah. I know, big deal.
Yeah. Yeah, I think the next topic is an even bigger deal.
Yeah, which is that the latest Windows 11 bug is causing the C drive to become inaccessible on Samsung PCs due to a Samsung Connect bug. That Samsung Connect, for reference, is a Windows app that lets you easily link it to Samsung Android tablets and then Samsung phones, your Windows PC that's made by Samsung. So Microsoft removed the app from the Microsoft Store in response, and Samsung reverted the app to an older version without the bug.
I'm trying to figure out why they would even use that app in the first place, because, I mean, my dad has become obsessed with the phone link app on Windows and Android. Because, again, he's a Samsung user, and he's anti-Apple. And as of a few months ago, he's really been dialing in his ability to use the phone link, where he's now playing music off of his phone, but on his laptop. And on his desktop, he's doing that too. He's dragging and dropping files between his phone and his laptop. It's kind of an interesting thing that I'm surprised it took them as long as they did, because you'd think this is something that Mac has been able to do with iPhone for so long. Albeit just in a slightly different format. But the point is that I'm trying to make here is my dad is using a Samsung device and a Windows PC already. Why does he need the Samsung Connect app? He's just using the phone link app just fine, and everything's.
I didn't even.
He keeps giving me that aha moment, like new Apple users get when they discover AirDrop, or continuity camera or stuff like that.
I mean, to be fair, though, I didn't even think of that, but also, I mean, I don't know many people that use Android, so.
I also don't know that many people that use Samsung PCs.
Yeah, I don't know anybody who uses a Samsung PC, actually.
Come to think of it, the only Samsung laptop I've ever seen out in the wild is just a Chromebook.
I don't even know if I've ever seen any one of those out in public. It's like they're like Nokia PCs. At least I knew to be fair, I knew that Samsung made PCs. I didn't know that Nokia made PCs until we covered that in our podcast episode.
Yeah, Samsung makes everything, including RAM.
And
just
military
not
tanks.
RAM you can buy. So, yep, that sucks for the Samsung PC users.
Yeah, but Shaw.
How do they eliminate the ability to read the C drive?
It's Windows. Windows can allow you to delete way too much stuff. It's like there's one of the points that Tabby brought up in one of his unlisted videos about why he hates Windows 10 is that Windows applications allow the ability to disable keys. macOS applications do not prohibit that.
Somehow Windows allows you the ability to disable your CPU.
Yeah.
Why anybody would want to do that is beyond me.
The CPU socket specifically allows you to disable the CPU socket.
There is no reason why Windows should allow you that ability. It's just so stupid. But nonetheless, what's next?
Meta is shutting down the VR metaverse, specifically with they're shutting down Horizon Worlds, their VR metaverse thing, on June 15th. This is such a sad moment.
Not?
Yeah. I've been criticizing the metaverse from the very beginning, and it's dead. Was this worth the rebrand, Meta? Was it?
Could say the metaverse went meta.
I still don't think that meta means deaf.
It does.
No, I'm looking it up in the dictionary right now. So let's look up the definition of meta. Meta, adjective of a creative work, referring to itself or to the conventions of its genre, self-referential. Meta, which is before a word, denoting a change of position or condition, denoting position behind, after, or beyond, denoting something of a higher or second order kind, denoting substitution of two column items separated by one or other in a Bazingring example 1-3, denoting compound form of dehydration from origin from Greek meta, with, across, or after. So yeah, it does not mean deaf.
Well, I'm getting vibes of it at least, but nonetheless, no, the metaverse thing was stupid to begin with. I can't believe how much money they wasted into it.
I thought that it was going to be more. I honestly thought it was going to be more successful than it was.
I didn't see how, because I know it. I've been saying this ever since it came out. You cannot escape reality, no matter how hard you try.
I just thought that people would fall for it genuinely, but I mean, it's kind of true. But I guess no, the metaverse is now shutting down. Which, wow, that just goes to prove that we were right. But do you have anything more to say about this, or shall we move on to our next topic?
I mean, it should have been obvious when people tried out the Vision Pro, because the point of Vision Pro was to take you out of reality and into a new one. At least that was a big marketing point to it. Because you could sit in the mountains or on the beach or something like that. Those scenery things, I don't remember what they call it, but nonetheless, it was trying to take you out of reality. And I'm sorry, you cannot escape reality. No matter how hard you try. It's just like right now I would like to escape the reality that I really need to use the bathroom. I would like to pretend that I just don't need to use the bathroom right now. But guess what?
No.
Reality is I need to use the bathroom.
Show up before the show.
So,
like me.
Nonetheless, I'm not just too surprised that it failed. I would if somehow it had taken off, I would have become very worried. But thankfully it has not.
Yeah, it's like we're psychic because we're always seem to be right about this stuff. But do you actually have to use the bathroom?
I can hold it. So,
all right.
What's next?
Thank you. All YouTubers can now upload 50 megabyte thumbnails instead of 2 megabyte, which that's pretty cool, I'll say, because I've noticed that YouTube thumbnails have been a little bit lower resolution, so I'm glad to see that they can be more higher resolution.
So we can now finally upload PNGs to YouTube?
I don't know about that. You seriously can't upload PNGs to YouTube?
The file size is just too big.
Ah. Well, let me actually go to YouTube Studio and test that. No, wait. No, wait. I would have to have like a video file first, so I won't do that, but...
Yeah. But no, I recall I tried exporting a file as a PNG once and tried uploading it to YouTube, and they refused to take it because file size was too large. But once I exported it to a JPEG, just fine, I guess. So
yeah, I usually do. I usually just export. I usually use either my iPhone or iPad for thumbnails, so that's never really an issue for me because they're all come from the default photos app. But yeah, I'm glad to see that you can now have a high resolution thumbnail, so instead of compressed ones. Because as I covered in one of my videos, you gotta find with compression you have to find a balance between high resolution and practical.
Mm-hmm.
In terms of loading times. But shall we move on to our next topic?
Yep. What is this?
DJI fixed the Romo robot vacuum security flaw that exposed thousands of homes that we covered a little while back.
Ah, so it's fixed.
Yep.
Still not buying one.
At least it's fixed though, so
yeah.
Shall we move on to our next topic that I don't know how interesting this one is.
What's this?
A lot more automakers. Like I'm talking like basically every automaker that sells in North America, including Jeep, Dodge, including all the Stellantis brands, and just basically all the brands have been added to the Supercharger network at this point.
So, I wonder what would happen if somebody were to take a VinFast to the Supercharger network.
I don't know if VinFast has been added. Let me look it up.
No, VinFast has never announced Supercharger access. It sounds like they don't even have interest in switching to NACS, as far as I can tell.
Are they the Vietnamese EV company?
Yeah, they're the Vietnamese company.
One of the guys I follow on Twitter, Tyler from Tyler Film Company, got a tech woven case for his iPhone 17 Pro, his orange one.
R.I.P. phone case. I don't know.
So this is the
woven stuff.
So this is the updated list. So Dodge, Jeep, Ram, Fiat, and Maserati EVs in North America can now officially use Tesla's Supercharger network. And then the updated list of automakers that have been added are Acura, Audi, BMW, Ford, General Motors, Genesis, Honda, Hyundai, JLR, Kia, Lucid, Mercedes, Nissan, Polestar, Porsche, Rivian, Stellantis, Subaru, Toyota, Volkswagen, and Volvo.
Isn't Mazda on the list too? Or did I miss that?
Mazda, I don't think Mazda's on the list, but they're Mazda. Who cares about Mazda EVs?
Yeah, they funny enough, they actually did come out with another one recently, though it's way better than the MX-30.
Let's talk about that.
I don't know enough about it to actually talk about it. So but
Yeah,
I do know that they did release another EV aside from the MX-30. They're calling it the Mazda 6e, I think.
Ah,
It's in
sounds
Europe. So from the sounds of it, it seems to be a European release. I don't think it's coming here because the Mazda 6 is a sedan, and EV sedans, it seems, those aren't good enough for America. Because Americans certainly love their big, bloated, oversized things.
Even though the Tesla Model 3 is selling very well here.
Yes! And now there's only one reason why the Model 3 is selling very well. It has no competition here.
Shall I move on to that topic?
Absolutely. One of my favorite non-Tesla EVs, the Hyundai Ioniq 6, just got axed for the US.
Hyundai.
Why? Oh, because Americans don't like sedans, because they're just not practical. They have to be this big, oversized box that looks ridiculous, doesn't drive as well as a... No, that's what Americans want. They want these big, oversized vehicles you can't see out of. Not in an actual, practical, proper sedan.
Yes, I even told my grandma, mom, and aunt that when I grow up and have a wife and maybe even kids, she is never buying an SUV.
Yes.
And they all think I'm crazy for that.
Well, people still think I'm crazy for loving my sedan as much as I do. I mean, when I talk about getting a GMC Terrain, yes, it's one of those crossovers, and no, I'm not a fan of that particular category. But, and there, a lot of them have said, why don't you just sell Stardust and get that? Just use the GMC as a daily driver. But I said, no, I do not like the way these things drive, and I have a difficult time seeing out of them. They get worse gas mileage than what I can get with my car.
Yeah, you only need a GMC Terrain half the year anyway.
Yeah. The only reason I'm buying one is because I need ground clearance and all-wheel drive. You can get sedans with all-wheel drive, but you can't really get them with ground clearance. And that's because that's actually one of the benefits of a sedan. It's their lack of it. That helps their on-road performance.
Yeah, and if you don't... Yeah, and if you live down south, then you do not need a vehicle with dedicated ground clearance, because you're not going to be driving in snow enough to warrant that unless you go up north.
And also, why am I buying a crossover? Well, it's because ideally I would have preferred to buy a pickup truck. That's what I would have ideally preferred to buy. The problem is all the pickup trucks in the area are way too expensive for what I have the money for. And so the GMC Terrain is a crossover that can accomplish what it is I need it to do. Just be a vehicle with ground clearance and all-wheel drive. But other than that, I prefer sedans. I will always be driving sedans unless I need a pickup truck for the occasional blizzard or I need to plow something like that. But right now, I just don't have the money for a pickup truck. It's just out of my price range. So.
Yeah, exactly. But
no, I can't stand how so many people expect. I wonder if these people have. When's the last time they've actually sat in a sedan and driven one?
I don't know. Sometimes I don't know, because my mom rides my sedan all the time, and she's still and so I literally asked my mom wonder what would happen if these people got back in that insist on having crossovers and SUVs get back in a sedan. And my mom said, well, they'll realize that they wouldn't have enough space. And my mom also brings up, well, I have long legs, so sedans just don't have enough room. And I'm like, you think you're the... My mom is 5'11". Technically not even. She's technically like 5'10", but rounds up to 5'11".
She's still taller than me, though.
My mom's 5. Yeah, but she has longer legs. So I mean, it's so. But you'd think you got the longest legs in the world. You don't, and I'm sure there's lots of people with legs that long that have to deal with that. Like most men, for instance. Or many men, I should say.
I mean, then there's another thing, too. Do you guys actually know what the average human height is?
Yeah, it's 5'4" for women, 5'9" for men. My mom is an exception.
I'm still below average.
My mom fits in her car just fine, and so I just don't. And so,
I think again, if the average is actually that, so many people are concerned about fitting like 6'3", 6'4", 6'4" foot people in the car. But yet, where's the average? It's a lot lower than that. And my dad is 6 something. I don't actually know what his real height is, but he's definitely over 6 feet. He's definitely got more than 4 inches on me. But
yeah,
he has no problems getting into a sedan.
Last time I was measured, I was 6'1", and I have zero problem sitting in a sedan. And my dad, when I don't know if he might have shrunk a little bit, but he peaked at around 6'1", and he has back problems from an injury a long time ago, and especially now that he's getting older. But he still prefers to sit in a sedan.
Yeah.
Now, granted, he claims it's not comfortable for long road trips, so he wants to try to get like a more fun SUV, like a Lexus SUV or a Land Rover SUV or something like that. But I don't. My dad still ultimately prefers
sedan. Then
my dad still ultimately prefers driving sedans, though.
Yeah, they drive better, they ride better because SUVs are bigger and heavier, therefore they need a little stiffer suspension to account for that. Something that a lot of people don't think about.
Yeah, which again...
And I'm still trying to figure out the ride height thing. I am still trying to figure out what everybody likes about sitting up high.
I don't... You can see further ahead, but you can't see in front of you, so I don't... I mean, the only thing I can think of is that might make people feel taller, which, I mean, I guess that might be nice, but I mean, it's not like... But that's not an area that you necessarily want to be high up off the ground from, because I mean...
The only thing that becomes taller is just their ego.
Yes. Yes, it's like...
And then realistically, again, this is the thing that I can't understand. When you sit up higher, you're increasing your distance from you and your center of gravity from the pavement. You're losing feel of the road. And I don't like that. I feel like I am being less safe the more I remove myself from the road. Because I need to know what the car's doing to drive it.
Yeah, exactly. I hate that about driving SUVs so freaking much, but I mean, still, it's like it genuinely is like the bigger. Honestly, people that drive big vehicles, honestly, they have egos that are about as big as those of college graduates.
Pretty much. It's especially the case in pickup trucks.
Yeah, same. Because I mean, half the people who drive pickup trucks don't have a use case. Now, if you actually have a use case for a pickup truck, then you're being practical. Like if you have a real use case. But that's not the majority of people who drive pickups.
Sadly, it is not. I mean, when I do get a pickup truck, I'm going to be the crazy person that actually lowers it. Yes, you heard me right. I would lower my truck, not lift it.
I would do the same thing. And in fact, if I own a pickup truck firm, one of the things that will be signature about our trucks is that they will be as low to the ground as possible. Which, that also, if you think about it, that makes it easier to load stuff onto the bed.
Oh, whoa! That's a new concept!
Making it easier to
Somebody
load
should
stuff
tell...
on a truck.
Yeah, somebody should tell Chevy and Ford, hey, maybe if the truck was lowered to the ground, you can actually reach into the bed. Oh, wait, isn't there somebody that's doing that?
Tello?
Oh, yeah, Tello caught on to this idea.
Yeah, that's actually a great... I just thought of it. Yeah, that's a great... I just thought of that perk. But yes, that is a great point, is that even if you're actually... Now, granted, there are some times when you would want higher ground clearance, like if you're driving in the winter, but...
Yeah, snow, like that. Again, that's the reason I'm buying a GMC.
But if you live in the southern part of the country... But what if you live in the southern part of the country? Which a lot of people do. You don't need...
It's just not needed. Yeah, it's just not needed. So, yeah, that's why I'm upset the Ioniq 6 is going away. It's just... It genuinely was an amazing vehicle, too. I mean, the i90 Surge, when Out of Spec took that, they took a base model Ioniq 6 on the i90 Surge. It came third place for EVs.
What was first and second?
First place was the Porsche Taycan.
That makes sense.
Second place was a base model Tesla Model 3. As impressive as that is. And then, I think it was 10, 15 minutes behind the Model 3 came the Ioniq 6. They were not far behind. They actually almost, if it wasn't for a traffic jam, the Ioniq 6 actually could have beaten the Model 3.
I didn't watch the i90 Surge, so I never asked this question. But did they? When they did the i90 Surge, did they take interstate bypasses when they were going through cities, or did they?
I believe the rule was to stick to I-90 as much as possible.
Because I know they probably did the. I assume they took bypasses for when they went from San Diego to Jacksonville, because they weren't on the same interstate for the entire time anyway.
Yeah, well, that's because they started out on I-10, but their destination... I-8. No, they started in Jacksonville, Florida. Oh, I-8 doesn't start until Arizona.
Yeah, no, I know. I thought they started... I assume they start west, but no, that makes sense.
No, they started in Jacksonville for that race. But yeah, when they did that race, they diverted to I-12 to bypass New Orleans, Louisiana.
Yeah, I was about to... That makes so much more sense.
Yep, and then made a turn at I-8. So it didn't make sense to have the rule of just stick to one highway. But for the I-90 Surge, the whole point is, let's race all of these cars on the country's longest interstate highway.
Yeah.
So, yeah, that was the point of that.
They should do an I-95 Surge.
They did, actually.
Oh. Have they done 75?
I don't know if they'll do that. But during Thanksgiving, actually, they did the Eastern Edge. And they started all the way up at the beginning of Route 1 in Fort Kent, Maine. And raced all the way down to Key West, Florida, to the end of Route 1.
I'm guessing they went on I-95 for most of that.
Yeah. Yeah, they stayed on I-95 for the most part, though they were allowed to take bypasses to get around traffic. Which, in fairness, they had to go through Boston, New York, D.C., Miami, Jacksonville. They had a lot of big cities to drive through.
That would be cool.
So, yeah, the Ioniq 6 was very competent. It came ahead of a Mercedes S-Class, the EQS, a BMW i7, Genesis what was it? I think it was a G70 electric. Was it a G70 or G80 electric? Either of the two. What else? Oh, the Lucid Air. Yes, it beat a Lucid Air. As crazy as that might sound, but it did manage that. No, the Ioniq 6 is a very capable road tripping vehicle. And that aside, it's a nice quirky car too, for those who like quirks and features. And in general, it's just a competent car. It was a very good car.
Exactly. But do you have anything more to say about this? Shall we move on to our next topic, which we actually skipped a good topic to discuss the Hyundai canceling the Ioniq 6 for the United States, because that made more sense. But shall we discuss the Rivian R2 being here?
Yeah, the R2. So speaking of the crossovers and SUVs that I despise, the R2 is here. It's not in people's hands just yet, but the configurator is live. They're getting ready to officially start delivering it, but they've now finally showcased the production vehicle that buyers are actually going to receive. And for the most part, it's not a bad car. It's just there's a couple things about it that I wasn't thrilled with how Rivian's advertising it at.
Like the efficiency?
Yeah, the efficiency that Rivian's advertising, it's way too close to the Model Y. And the Model Y has significantly better aero than R2. And even then, I mean, I brought up in the comment sections in the Idiot Awards, what doesn't make sense is the R2 is still very boxy, even though, okay, I glossed over the hidden dip in the back on the roofline. You have to look closely to find it, but it's there. They did try to aero optimize it, but ultimately it's still a boxy SUV. And just, Rivian's not the only one who's basically making this shape. Hyundai's Ioniq 9. It's a little larger, but it's not that much larger. It's a 3-row. But they basically pulled a lot of the same tricks Rivian did with the R2. And that thing is really struggling to hit 3 miles per kilowatt hour. Same with the Lucid Gravity. Still struggling. It's supposed to be able to hit that. In fact, they need to in order to get its 400-mile EPA range. But as discovered in the Eastern Edge, when they've raced 2 Gravities on that trip, actually, the Gravity the entire time was really struggling to hit the 3 mile per kilowatt hour mark. And I don't think the Rivian's going to do that much better. So that's why I brought that whole thing up. I don't think the range that they're advertising is realistic, because 88 kilowatt hour battery pack, that's the size they're advertising. 330 miles, divide that by 88, you get 3.75 miles per kilowatt hour. Which again, SUVs like that are struggling to even break 3 miles per kilowatt hour. So that's the one thing that I don't believe. The price point though is pretty interesting. What do you think of the price?
It's fine.
It's actually very competitive with the Model Y in terms of pricing. Again, there's R2 is supposed to start at $45K. That's what it'll start at when they get to that at that point. Model Y starts a little above $40,000, I think. I don't remember its exact starting price, but it's around $40,000 for a Model Y standard. But the top ends, though, the top end Model Y compared to the top end R2, they are very similar in price. It's only like a $500 difference, if I recall. And I don't know, but the R2 definitely has a nicer interior than the Model Y. That's a common thing with Rivians. They have much nicer interiors. The off-road capability is going to be better for those who think they need it. Although, if I'm being honest, it would probably be a better winter vehicle up here than the Model Y would be, because it actually has more ground clearance for snow. it does have knacks, and it's in the right spot for superchargers, and, well, just right spot, period, because it should always be on the driver's side of the vehicle. So...
Yeah, my grandma just got a 2021 Jeep Patriot, and she's frustrated. Frustrated. Her old 2006 Jeep Grand Cherokee had the fuel door on the left side, and she's frustrated that the fuel door on her Jeep Renegade, is now on the right side. She's frustrated about that.
It is annoying. You want to know something else that's annoying? When I buy the GMC Terrain, guess where the fuel door is?
Right.
It's on the wrong side of the car.
I mean, basically all the cars in my family, I don't know about my mom's, but literally all the other cars in my family have it on the right side. Like, I think my dad's car has on the...
That seems to be a German thing.
Well, the M6 is out of commission, but it's currently out of commission. But yeah, it's on the right side. My Mercedes has it on the right side.
All of the Germans put it on the right side for some stupid reason. And yet, in Britain, it's still on the right side. So that in Britain, that's the correct side to have it on.
In Ireland, because Ireland also drives on the left.
Oh, yeah. And Australia.
Yeah. And Hong Kong and, India, Thailand, Singapore, basically all former British colonies, including and also Japan, Thailand, Indonesia, basically all former British colonies, and some other ones. Oh, and the U.S. Virgin Islands. They all are driving on the left.
Yeah, but no, I mean, I hate that when they do that too. But nonetheless, the R2 is not a bad car. I never called it a bad car. I was just calling Rivian out for their questionable marketing.
Which, I mean, that's what you did in your Gadgets channel and your calling out BS marketing video back in 2022. But do you have anything more about to say about this? Shall we move on to our next topic involving Volvo?
I would like to point out one more thing about the R2. Unfortunately, this paint color is going to be an exclusive option for the launch edition, which means once the launch edition is done, we're never going to see it again. But that Borealis paint color.
What color is Borealis? Or let me look it up.
It's a purple.
Actually.
It's a purple.
Oh. Rivian. Don't you understand that we need more non-neutral paint cars?
It looks so good! It's just pure eye candy. It looks so good. Oh, why is that exclusive to the launch edition? I want this on all R2s. It looks so good.
Oh, work at Rivian, so don't ask me.
Yeah, if I was in the market for an R2, I would not do red, I would not do blue, I would actually do that Borealis color. I'm not joking. It is that good looking. So, that is the one thing left that is the one thing that I really like about the R2. Just that paint color, and that's it. So, nonetheless, I think it's time we move on to Volvo. Oh, we've got a bunch of bad EV news to talk about. So, like what Hyundai did with the Ioniq 6, Volvo is axing the EX30. Although, if I'm being honest, it's kind of making sense why they're axing the EX30.
Yeah, Volvo doesn't really sell in North America Volvo, except outside of Colorado, the Northeast, they don't really sell that well in North America. Like, I don't see a lot of Volvos on the road here, which is a shame because they're good.
I do see a Volvo EX90 around here, actually.
Wow, I hardly ever see Volvos on the road where I am. Although I also live in kind of a high poverty area, so it makes sense. Which it's kind of disappointing given that Volvo invented the seatbelt.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
And they didn't even patent it.
I mean, it's probably a good thing they didn't patent that.
Yeah.
Because, I mean, it's now law at this point. So, but nonetheless, I mean, I do see a few Volvos around here. They're not as common, but I do see a few Volvos around here. The EX90 actually being, well, there's only one EX90 around here. But I see mostly a lot of Volvo XC90s. Old and new. And then the electric version as well, which is the EX90. But no, the EX30 is getting axed because Volvo...
Is the EX30 a sedan?
No, it's actually a hatchback, like the Chevy Bolt. It's what your dad spotted that one time covered in camo.
Oh, yeah!
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I remember we were doing some quick Google searching to figure out what car your dad had spotted, and yeah, it was the EX30.
Yeah.
But the big reason why it's being canceled is because Volvo was building that car in China in an attempt to cut costs on that, because the point of it was supposed to be it was a cheap car.
Oh,
but
no.
we all know what happened with the Chinese EVs or Chinese built EVs.
They not only got more expensive here, but they also China's EV industry is really taken off.
Yeah.
Literally.
Mm-hmm. So that's the problem. The EX30 is built in China. I believe they were trying to move it production to some European country. Which one? I don't remember. But they were trying to move it to some other European country for production. But that ended up increasing costs. And the point of it was to be a cheap EV. But it ain't cheap. So you're now paying roughly $50,000 for what's supposed to be an EV that costs around $30,000.
Makes perfect sense to me.
So, yeah, nobody bought it. And that's why they're axing it. It's just it doesn't make financial sense with what's been going on, which is kind of unfortunate. But, I mean, Volvo couldn't have predicted this. So I'm blaming economics and political BS on this one, not just... It wasn't a completely bad car. If it was $30,000, it'd be an excellent car.
I mean, Volvo could have moved its production to the United States, but even then but that's not something they can just do overnight.
No, that's not. So, yeah, the EX30 is getting axed. They are still continuing production of the EX90 and the upcoming EX60. The EX60 is still coming to the US.
I'm guessing those are intended to be more expensive, though, so it makes sense.
Yeah, those are actually supposed to be more upmarket. But, I mean, in fairness, I see plenty of Volvos around here. There's not a lot, but I still see them around here. So... I think those will do pretty well for them, especially that EX60. My goodness, is that thing a monster?
Is the EX60 an SUV?
It is, sadly, but its battery tech is like Chinese level battery tech. And yet it's not built in China, it's built in Sweden.
Well, that's pretty cool. But speaking of foreign car companies, shall we move on to our next topic?
Yeah. Oh, yeah, the Volkswagen stuff.
No, Honda.
Oh, oops. Yep, I missed Honda. Yeah, they're canceling their plans on all EV stuff. They're also apparently reporting a bunch of losses. And,
yeah, so Honda. Our specific topic is that Honda is anticipating their first annual loss in 70 years of being public.
Yeah, and I think the reason why is they've been playing it far too conservative for far too long.
Yeah, Honda's just not... I'm guessing Honda has also gone full in with the CVT.
Yeah, a lot of their cars actually do have CVTs, funny enough.
Yeah, so not only has Honda gone full in with the CVT, so why buy our gas cars, especially if they're known for their reliability, and their EVs are just not up to par. So yeah, it makes sense. I mean, Honda was talking about merging with Mitsubishi and Nissan.
Yeah.
I mean, I know Honda does other things like their motorbikes and their generators, but I mean, at this point, I mean, gas generators, they're still kind of a thing, but they're a little bit of a dying trend due to electric generators. And I mean, motorbikes, especially where I am, like a lot of guys like to drive dirt bikes, but but I mean, dirt bike companies are not as valuable as car companies.
No. But, I mean, the reason why Honda's got to be reporting a big loss is because they've always played it safe in terms of their business decisions. And for the longest time, it worked. This worked back when the car industry really wasn't innovating that much. And because Honda was playing it safe, focusing on let's just build solid, reliable transportation, which they were. I mean, honestly, I love Honda's engines. Because they are so hard to kill. There are so many Hondas around here with well over 200,000, 300,000 miles. They're just so hard to kill. And so there's some engineering there to respect. But for the longest time, they've been playing it so safe with a lot of their business decisions. And now the industry is starting to actually make a big evolution where we're no longer just focusing on gas powertrains anymore. We're now moving into alternative fuel types. Electric being the most obvious one, and oh dear, I need to grab my MacBook's charger. That's getting
already had to get mine.
But nonetheless, now the industry is actually evolving, and when that happens, you can't play it safe anymore. And that's Honda's problem. They're just playing it too safe. They need to start taking some risks.
Exactly. But shall we go ahead and move on to our next topic?
Not just yet. It's because I have to state something also sad about Honda. Remember the Prologue?
That's actually in the rumors. Is that a rumor or is that actually confirmed?
No, that is actually confirmed. They will be getting rid of the Prologue EV by the end of this year.
I mean, to be fair, it was just an electric SUV, but yeah, no, I'm moving that into crucial topics. Yeah, that was a topic we were gonna discuss.
Yeah,
at the
end. But yeah, the General Motors built Honda electric car. I am not joking. That car was actually built by General Motors. It was just a rebadged Blazer EV. But nonetheless, that they are going to discontinue that by the end of this year.
To be fair, why not just buy a Blazer EV since it's literally the same thing?
Honda has CarPlay.
True! Yes, GM, get back. GM, what about this CarPlay thing?
Yeah!
Even Tesla's trying to add it. Hopefully they'll do it soon or rather than later, so that way I can experience CarPlay in my Tesla Model 3, because getting that Tesla Model 3 is coming up rather quickly.
Mm-hmm.
I'll have a Tesla before you, ironically, even though you were the one that convinced me to buy Tesla.
Yep. So, but nonetheless, the Prologue's getting canceled by the end of this year. So that sucks.
All right, now shall we move on to Volkswagen, which is again.
Now it's time to move on to Volkswagen. Yes.
This is why I had it next to the Honda topic about their loss, but Volkswagen's profits are down by 50%, which is the lowest since Dieselgate. For instance, that was when they had emissions testing mode and and intentionally made the vehicle more efficient only when it was being tested.
Yeah. So, I mean, on one hand, I'm trying to think what the thing is. Volkswagen's been putting out some pretty decent stuff, especially in the electric space. So, the only thing I'm wondering is the ID4 starting to get old where sales are starting to fall off?
I don't know, but this topic also goes hand in hand, which is that Volkswagen is now offering an LFP. Yes, LFP battery business for even home use. So similar to how Martin from the Friday Checkout discuss and Tech Alter discussed this in his last episode, which will not be the last one by the time the podcast episode releases because we record on Thursdays. But Martin discussed that similar to Tesla, Volkswagen is pulling a Tesla where even though just like Tesla, the Volkswagen's car sales are declining, they are starting to move into the home energy sector to try to, which is still growing in a more profitable sector, just like Tesla.
Ford's doing the same thing too.
Yeah. So this is clear. Which, hey, I'm all for home energy. So
Yeah. I mean, given what we talked about last week, I guess we can't complain too much. But I mean,
exactly.
Volkswagen's been taking a lot of risks lately, and I mean, I complained that Honda was not taking any risks, and because they weren't taking any risks, well, nobody's paying attention to them anymore, and that's why their profits are starting to slip.
But risks can go both ways,
Exactly.
can also be too expensive.
Mm-hmm. And so I'm wondering, is this Volkswagen the company specifically, or is this Volkswagen Group?
I don't know.
Because
Yeah, because
Volkswagen owns a lot of companies like Audi, Porsche, Lamborghini. There's probably a few others that I'm not thinking of at the moment, but no, Volkswagen Group owns a lot of stuff. But the thing, I guess I just don't follow them closely enough. This would be something for Tabby to discuss, as he's a Volkswagen enthusiast.
Yeah.
But it's unfortunate that their profits are down. But I mean, this is kind of the thing we're hearing across the industry, period. And a lot of it has to do with now, here in the U.S. specifically, say what you will about politics, but
The economy's bad.
well, it's in an awkward spot. I'll say that. I don't want to say it's bad. I'll say it's in an awkward spot.
Yeah, it's not necessarily bad, it's just in an awkward spot. So yeah, that's a better word to say, but yeah, it's in a bit.
But even then, especially when we're talking electrification here, this administration has made it very clear they do not like electric vehicles.
Well, no.
And
Yeah,
I'm not saying they should incentivize. I agree they should not incentivize electric sales. But the problem is they are going out of their way to criminalize and make EVs seem a lot less appealing.
I mean,
than they should be.
The problem with the EV industry getting politicized is that now conservatives, because they want to stick to their old traditions, they don't want to go electric because they don't want to try something new, and because Tesla is because basically outside of EV, because Tesla is for the most part the only automaker that Tesla is basically our only automaker in the EV in the United States that can actually make EVs that is profitable right now. So and liberals don't like Tesla now because of Elon Musk. So now basically no one likes EVs. Oh, and also because of all the misinformation around it. So basically no one likes EVs. So duh. And also Americans generally have, unless you're car enthusiasts, like Americans generally seem to have. There's a lot of Americans that generally still oppose the idea of buying a foreign car too.
Yeah, there's some American pride that goes into it too. But I mean, the only American brand aside from Tesla that is still pushing on, well, I'll say the only American legacy auto brand that's still pushing on, GM is still rocking hard. I'm still surprised that they have no plans to end production of the Silverado and Sierra and Hummer EVs because they are so expensive to build with their massive battery packs.
But GM GM's also been bailed out by the U.S. government several times. So
so has Ford and Chrysler
not in the
at the time.
Ford didn't get bailed out in the '08 crisis.
I've heard they've been bailed out once at some point.
I don't remember when that was, but no. In the '08 crisis, which is the biggest Let me look up where Ford's ever bailed. Was Ford ever bailed out by the government? That's okay. So Ford was never bailed out. As what happened was they tried to go with they. So what happened was I actually watched a great video by History in the Dark about this, about the government's bailout. But what happened was Ford did not. What happened was Ford initially went with GM and Chrysler to try to petition the government to save them, basically. But in the end, Ford was able to secure their own private line of credit, so they didn't have to accept any government money. But they were initially going to, so...
Take that for what you will, I guess. They also did lose a lot of brands that they owned at the time. They owned Mazda, they've owned...
Ford didn't entirely own Mazda. They just had
they've owned a portion of it. They've owned they've owned some of Mazda.
You know,
they've
Toyota
lost
used
Mercury.
to own part of Tesla.
I don't think Tesla really was owned by anyone.
I mean, Toyota owned a part of it. Like Toyota owned stock of Tesla, I should say.
Okay, but it's not like the actual company.
No. Ford also didn't lose Mercury, as they still make Mercury overseas. But the problem is that Ford and Mercury were making cars that were too similar, so they shut down the Mercury brand in the United States because of that. But Mercury is still sold in like Australia.
Yeah, I don't know too much about the foreign markets, but nonetheless, they did take a hit from that. But I mean, my point is in general that because the government has been so focused on removing all of the EV programs and all of that, which again, I was not in favor of government subsidies because it just adds more political drama than what is necessary. I wanted the industry to evolve naturally, but the problem is a lot of us are too stubborn and we can't. Well, how do I phrase it? I guess the problem is the government's focusing too much on the other end of the spectrum. They're focusing too much on oil and gas and lowering our emission standards so that way our gas cars can become more affordable.
Yeah, which I mean, that's great and all, because I mean, there should still be more options for fueling cars, but I mean, it's great to make gas cars more affordable. I totally agree, and this is one statement I fully agree with, which is that this I actually think would be a great idea for constitutional amendment. Like, because of California's stupid regulations like that, that's the main reason why cars are so expensive here, which is why I personally think they should add a constitutional amendment that states that only the federal government can regulate the mass production products, because the problem is that most mass production products are manufactured to continental standards usually.
Well, California legit had actual pollution problems. In fairness to them, they legit had actual pollution problems. And so I can understand why they wanted some tighter standards.
I mean, the whole U.S., I mean, lots of places in the U.S. did at one point, but
California had the worst because of L.A. and San Francisco. That's where the majority of the population lives.
No, that's not. The Northeast and the Northeast area had it worse, I'm pretty sure, but that's neither here nor there.
Well, nonetheless, I can understand why they wanted those tighter restrictions on it, but I can also understand your other point too, where it should be a general consensus instead of one particular state. But I don't even think that's the biggest problem. My problem, especially when they started lowering the emissions standards, my problem is gas car companies have not been innovating since. And I mean, this is kind of how we got to where we are with the crossovers and the oversized pickups.
It's because they were exempt from fuel regulations and
all of these loopholes and tricks to be able to get out of needing to adhere to regulations. That's a big part of how we got to our stupid crossover and oversized pickup truck presence.
That's a big part. Played a big part in how come the American oil companies had to get bailed out.
Yeah. But then another thing too, okay, yeah, there's a lot of people that seem to like these stupid, oversized, big vehicles that drink the juice like you would not believe. What about someone like me? Why should that be my only option?
I mean, they should allow for both realistically, but that's shall we go ahead and move on to our next topic because we do have 4 topics left and less than half an hour to cover them. So shall we get off the side tangent?
Not just yet, and it's
No.
because there's one point I have to make. I know, but there's one important point I have to make. My problem is the vehicles that these automakers do set aside to be more fuel efficient, they're generally just bad cars.
Oh, same. They're nerdy cars, effectively.
But no, I mean, like, they're actually cheap, and, I mean, cheap is one thing, but they're not built as well. They don't have as good of materials. And then a lot of times horsepower is something to be desired for. Because let me take a GM's... let's take the Equinox and the Terrain, their latest ones. Their current fuel-efficient offerings to try to adhere to the CAFE standards to keep their fuel economies up. The vehicles they have, in terms of their powertrains, are just awful. They're 1.5 liter, sure, turbos, but they're actually, I don't even know if they do have turbos, but they're 1.5 liter 4 cylinders, and they make almost no power.
I'm sorry, did you say 4 cylinders in SUVs?
Yes.
4 cylinders in SUVs is completely unacceptable. Unless it's accompanied by an engine. Unless it's accompanied by a hybrid motor.
The GMC Acadia that I had on loan, remember that car?
Okay. That was not a hybrid and it still had a 4-cylinder.
That still had a 4-cylinder, and it felt so slow. Albeit it was a larger 4-cylinder than what they had in the Equinox. But
no one... It's still a 4-cylinder.
Yeah, and it doesn't even get that good of gas mileage. So why is it for those of us who don't necessarily want a super thirsty car, why is it we have to put up with the crappiest of your tech just to get good fuel economy? It doesn't have to be this way. Does it?
They don't think like us, so...
So that was my frustration with lowering our fuel emission standards, and it's because that paves the way for, okay, just throw in more cylinders and displacement, let's make them big and such, instead of actually trying to innovate on adding more power and yet not drinking the juice. I just wanted them to innovate in that way, but now that our fuel economy regulations have been lowered, they're not going to do that. They're just going to continue to fuel our constant problem of big, bloated, oversized vehicles that get terrible gas mileage. And anybody that does want a fuel-efficient car like I do, we have to put up with the worst of their crap. And it's not fun. So.
Yeah, exactly. But shall I move on to rad power bikes?
Yes, time to move on.
Rad Power Bikes reference was the e-bike company that basically started the e-bike revolution in the late 2000s and early 2010s, but their sale to another company because their profits have suffered has been completed, and the new owner wants to build e-bikes in the United States. Interesting.
I guess so. I can't say I can't really say that much because I don't know too much about e-bikes. I've talked about wanting to build one for a while, although now that my place of employment is moving so far away, an e-bike is now not a reasonable means of transportation anymore. So
yeah,
but nonetheless, that's still pretty cool.
Yeah, agree. But shall we move on to our rumors?
Yes.
So the iPhone 18 is... The A20 Pro chip in it is possibly going to be 30% more efficient than the A19 Pro. Now, this is the type of efficiency we need in the car industry.
Yes! That is exactly the type of efficiency we need in the car industry. So that's cool. iPhone Air 2. Are they really going to make a second iPhone Air?
Yeah, apparently so. But there's rumors of it being possibly there. But my guess is that'll probably last for two. I mean, if the Mini lasted for two, then I suppose the Air. I mean, they have to start playing. In Apple's defense, they have to start planning the next generation right as the first generation releases. So I think that's why they're planning an Air 2, but an Air 3 sound. I mean, the Mini still had two
Well, they didn't
generations
do
that
this
made-
with the 5C. The 5C only had one generation.
The 5C sold well, though.
Yeah, but that only had one generation.
Yeah, I mean, I think they changed it out for this. They redesigned the iPhone entirely, though, so that's different. But the Air 2, 18 Pro, and 18 Pro Max are not going to experience price hikes, according to this rumor. Like Apple's apparently going to eat up the cost themselves.
I don't know why, but it's just I doubt that. I don't believe that rumor.
I mean, it's a rumor at the end of the day, so take everything we say in this rumor category with a grain of salt, a heavy one.
Yeah. That one especially. It's just with the whole RAM apocalypse and storage apocalypse going on. It just doesn't make sense. Apple can't keep eating the cost like that, especially when it comes to the iPhone. That is their bread and butter. That is what pulls in the money for them. And so to be able to eat costs like that, they have to be careful where they eat their costs. As much as we'd like them to, I just don't think they will.
Yeah, it's not going to be upgrading the 18 Pro, so it's not like that matters. But shall I go ahead and move on to our final rumor?
It's the Fold. What's this?
So the iPhone Fold is rumored to feature a CPI screen that is more scratch resistant. So at least it's gonna have a housing made of a little liquid combination of stainless steel and titanium, which at least they are thinking about durability for this phone. Now, granted, it would have been nice if they thought about durability of the iPhone 17 Pro before they released it, because come on, prototypes surely have scratched badly.
Yeah. Even then, though, I'm not necessarily concerned about durability on the housing of the iPhone Fold. I'm more concerned about the screen itself.
Same, totally like that. I'm glad they're at least making it more scratch resistant, but is it going to be more micro crack resistant?
And what about the crease?
The crease, it's rumored to have no crease.
I don't know, but part of me thinks that it will develop one over time.
Same, because I mean, it's just like, it's like shoes, like sneakerheads or sneaker enthusiasts that would care way too much about shoes. Like one of their big things, at least when I was a freshman in high school, so in 2023 to 2024, one of their big things was to make sure their shoes didn't get creased that way, especially for like the valuable shoes like the Air Jordans that they would maintain their value. So some of my friends used to buy crease guards, which are like little metal inserts that you would put in your shoes to basically guard the shoes from creasing.
Oh,
but I mean, shoes full.
Be uncomfortable.
Yeah, I can't. They say they're comfortable, but I don't know how. But I mean, I haven't heard much about crease guards anymore. But that's beside the point. But I mean, it's like anything that folds, like shoes, are going to develop a crease. So I mean, it'll be interesting to see how long the iPhone Fold will take before it develops a crease.
I mean, here's another example too. Does the bottom of your Mercedes seat have any creases in it?
It has tears.
Oh, even worse.
Because
I will say this much. Stardust definitely has creases in her seat.
I don't even pay attention to the creases.
Neither do I.
To be fair, my dad bought that car in 2021, and so I've been riding that car since either January or February 2021.
Yeah, though. Nonetheless, anything that folds will get fatigued over time, so Apple may have it initially sold without a crease, but I think it's still going to develop one over time.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, granted, it's not quite as worrisome about the vapor chamber eventually leaking, which I expect great concern with that for the iPhone 17 Pro. But if the vapor chamber leaks, it'll be like 15, 20 years. So that whereas I have a feeling that the crease is going to develop a lot faster in 15 to 20 years.
Yeah, especially if people are going to fold it in half all the time. So, I am so curious to know what that price tag is going to be. I still think it's going to be higher than $2,000.
Yeah, there are rumors that might be, so.
So, 16-inch MacBook Pro or iPhone Fold?
Oh, but the 16-inch MacBook Pro is going to get a price hike this fall, though, so.
Oh, that's right. Yeah, that's gonna suck. I'm thinking about doing a battery swap on mine. I don't actually. What's its health at? Because I've had this thing for 4 years now. Yeah, I think 4 years.
I mean, maybe it's time to start considering. Maybe this fall when the redesign comes.
Battery health says normal.
Because in 2027 is when I plan on buying a new MacBook.
84% capacity.
Not too bad. I mean, I use my iPhone 8 Plus with 81% battery capacity, but I mean, let me actually check what mine's at, because I've had mine since December 2023.
Yours should still be above 90.
Mine is at 95%.
Yeah. So that's not bad in terms of degradation.
Let me check my iPad. Because now I'm just curious, like, what are all my battery healths at? I use my iPad so heavily that 94%.
Wow.
It has a cycle count of 132, though, but so... I use my iPad really heavily, though, so that makes sense.
I'm curious to know what this is at, because on one hand, I leave it at 80% for charging. It's now currently at 10% for some reason. Plug this in. But yeah, I typically charge it to 80%, but on the other hand, I don't really use this device that much, so I have no idea what to expect.
My battery's capacity on my iPhone 17 Pro is still 100%.
It still thinks my iPad Pro's at 100% capacity.
It starts out technically at 103%, but I mean, that's not... Let me check my... I still hate the name Apple account. Why can't it be Apple ID? Like, that just doesn't make sense. My Apple Watch Series 11 has a battery capacity of 99%.
Oh, what is this at? I haven't looked in ages.
I think my Apple Watch Series 7 is below 90. I can say that.
Where's battery? There it is. Battery.
Your Apple Watch Series 7 is toast. Because you had yours since 2022.
84%. Not gonna lie, the battery on this is actually not that bad.
Yeah, same. Like, my Apple Watch Series 7's... When I first got my Apple Watch Series 7, I had to charge it every 2 days, but then I had to charge it every day. Whereas with my Apple Watch Series 11, I used to have to charge it like every couple days. But I mean, granted, when I initially got... Hang on, let me grab it. Why? I should stand, standing is good for me. But when I initially got my Apple Watch Series 7, in my defense, I was only wearing it for part of the day because that was when my middle school... that was in 8th grade, and that was when... And I got this thing after my middle school completely banned Apple Watches, or I mean... They didn't technically completely ban them, but you had to keep them powered off and in your backpack if you were gonna bring it to school. So because I had no need to, I did not bring my Apple Watch to school. But so in hindsight, I was only using for part of the day when I actually got it. But I mean, I still think. But eventually got to be where it was like every day I had to charge. to watch.
Yeah. Though honestly, if I'd rather just do a battery replacement and keep using this MacBook Pro, because
That's still cheaper at the end of the day. So
yeah, and it's like I really don't need more performance. I really don't. I mean,
Yeah,
so for this entire time we've been recording this, I have it set to 60 FPS recording, and it hasn't dropped a frame.
yeah, same. Like I don't. Yeah, same. Like I still trust my Mac Pro to go for a couple more years. So I mean, I do. So I mean, I still got my. So yeah, I'm still gonna be good, but that. We're out of topics, by the way. Although we don't have that much time left,
Mm-hmm.
and we got through all of them.
This MacBook Pro is so good. It's just Apple's really struggling to figure out how to get people to upgrade from their earlier Apple Silicon MacBook Pros.
I mean, granted, the redesign will help. I mean, even then, like if they bring the Touch Bar back. Then
yeah, except the rumors are they're actually turning it into a touch screen, which is worse.
Yeah, no. Oh, yes, yeah, the touch screen. If they brought back the touch bar, then I know what Alpha would do and what I would do.
I want Face ID.
If they did Face ID, then we all know what Alpha would do.
Yes.
Actually, there have been rumors that this next MacBook Pro may have Face ID. I think so. If they do bring Face ID, then I think we know what they'll do. What Alpha will do.
Well, that's assuming I have cash, but I don't know. After my whole data crisis with the server and the iMac being gotten rid of, I really don't know if I want to go through that again. I'm already trying to figure out what to do with the data that I have, because the server behind me still not finished being built, and yet I've got everything on a 2 terabyte external hard drive right now, aside from what was already on my MacBook Pro. I don't know. My data is in a mess right now, and I don't need to complicate it by switching laptops.
Yeah, you probably do need to get that fixed first.
So that, and it's like, I'm trying to build a house. This MacBook Pro is just, sure, it's got Touch ID instead of Face ID, albeit somehow Touch ID on the Mac has been the most accurate in terms of all Touch ID devices. It's never worked for me on an iPhone. It hardly ever works for me on an iPad. But somehow Touch ID on the Mac, it works very smoothly for me. I'm not entirely sure why, but this is the one device that it actually works fairly smoothly on. So, in terms of replacing Touch ID on the Mac, I'm not that concerned just yet, but I would still definitely take Face ID over Touch ID. But it's just right now, because it's working as well as it is, I'm not really in much of a rush to get that swapped out, and it's like, okay, and then there's the lack of the touch bar. Those are really the only two things I have to complain. It's just, I'd rather have Face ID, and I want the touch bar. But other than that,
USB-C.
Yeah. But
they're
other than that, I don't really think I changed that much else with this laptop.
Exactly. But speaking of Touch ID, did you keep the Touch ID keyboard and mouse for your iMac? Like, did you keep the blue keyboard and mouse for your iMac, or did you sell them too?
I sold those two.
Did you sell the box of the iMac?
Yeah. No, I have no use for the box.
In fact,
I needed something to protect the iMac too. The iMac is a weird shape. So the best protection I was going to get was the box it came with.
That makes sense, because if I had the original box for an Apple product, I was trying to sell that, since what if that iMac gets in the hands of an Apple collector someday? They're gonna want the box.
Mm-hmm. But even then, it's like, if you want to transport it safely, you really are best off using the retail packaging it came with, because it was
Yeah.
designed to get that thing to wherever it's going in a safe manner. So with the
If you lose
iMac,
the
you kind of
box,
have
then
no
that's a different
choice.
story.
Yeah. So, yep, the box is gone too. That's out of here. The only thing, there was one thing I did keep from the whole thing. I never hand down cables. I always keep the included cable. And it's because too many times when you buy used devices, that sometimes the seller will include the original cable, but it's all gross and grimy and torn and doesn't look safe to use. It's so because of that, I never repackage included cables. That and it's like it's a USB-C to USB-C. Those are plentiful.
Never. It's
So
not with an old gadget. It's typically more common to with old gadgets than, especially newer collectors prefer to have the cables included because it's easier not to have to go hunting down cables on eBay.
I mean, if
But
it's
that,
for proprietary connections, then yeah, that makes sense. But for standards like USB-C, absolutely not. I'd rather just, if I'm going to
yeah,
put a cable in the box, I'd rather just go buy a new one and put it in the box.
exactly. Like I would yeah, same. Like I would much rather have an I unless I'm selling in. Yeah, the only times I ever use the included cables are if it's an old Mac, if it's a really old Mac that has a proprietary standard, because then okay, then I kind of have no choice. But otherwise I generally use the include. But otherwise I generally use my own cables. Like especially even for 30 pin, I still use my own cables though. I also
Yeah.
collect to have the advantage of collecting too many devices, so I have too many 30 pin cables as well. I actually don't have that many 30 pin cables, but I have several still. So
Yeah, but that is the one thing. Whenever I sell a device, I never include the cable. And it's because I hate it when I buy devices and get these grimy, gross cables.
and you never
I'm
know
not
what
I'm not
happened
going
to
to
them in
stoop to that level.
shipping.
So, yeah. Uh I did keep the cable. That's the one thing I kept. But nope, I put the mouse and keyboard in with it cuz as much as I did want to keep them, I really did. It's just I don't know. I hate to sell an all-in-one computer like that and not include a keyboard and mouse cuz in fairness, if you don't know the trick on how to actually pair new accessories to the iMac, it can be a bit of a hassle and
Which is good. Which granted, most people who are going to buy the iMac are an iMac these days are average Joes.
yeah, it it just didn't seem right to not include them, so I just packed them up. So I'm trying to see if I can find a replacement set on eBay. Though so far I've only found Lightning port versions. I'm looking for the USB-C versions. So for my desktop setup, which I gotta get a new dock. Yeah, though I'm waiting for the payout to come. But so far I'm back on my old keyboard and my Space Gray Magic Mouse.
Uh,
So it's not the end of the world. I mean, this keyboard, albeit it is cheaper, it's still a pretty good keyboard. It's I've typed on worse keyboards than this. And then the Space Gray Magic Mouse, it's still the same as the other Magic Mouse. It's just it's all Space Gray and with a Lightning connector. So there's no difference in that for me at least. But
and your AirPods Max are still Lightning anyway, so
yeah, so I do, however, I do foresee myself buying a Magic Keyboard with Touch ID at some point because typically I have the laptop open now so I can use the webcam, but typically when I'm working here at the station at my desk, I typically have my laptop closed.
yeah.
And so I then have no access to Touch ID and that's something that I'm never going to get with this keyboard. And I still really I also just prefer the typing experience on the Magic Keyboard, so I do foresee myself buying one at some point, but not right now. I've got other important things. I am trying to get that car as fast as I can.
All right. Well, is it alright if we conclude the show now because it is 7:58 p.m. for me, which means
This-
it's 8:58
yeah, this
p.m.
was-
for you.
This is a perfect spot to end the show.
All right. So as always, thank you all for tuning in to another episode of iTunes Fan Podcast. As always, I'm Tim Hacker from the iTunes Fanboy.
And my name is Alpha DeWolf from the Random Alpha.
And as always, we're saying peace out for now and hope to see you all in the next episode.